Hi guys, welcome to today's video. It's a Toyota Carina E, produced from late 92 to 98, and it was actually built in the UK. It was rebadged as the Carina, originally known in Japan as the Toyota Corona. The Carina E, the model before this, was also known here in Europe as the Carina. Sorry, the Carina 2, apologies. This model here is the 1.6 petrol. It's 106 brake horsepower. There's the 1.6 petrol, 1.8 and 2 litre petrol. You can also get a 2 litre diesel and a 2 litre turbo diesel. The 1.6 petrol has 106 brake horsepower. I'm led to believe this is the lean burn engine. It's very fuel efficient. They're a very spacious car, and if you can imagine back in 92 when they first came off the production line compared to their predecessors like the Escort, there's actually quite a lot to love about it. From 94, they got a driver's airbag as standard across the range. The models you could get, this is the 4-door saloon. You could get a 5-door liftback and an estate. The estates would be quite rare, you wouldn't see a huge amount of them at the moment. My friend bought this last year, and there has been updated alloys put onto it, and brake calipers you can see there. There's also 2 front spotlights wired into the car as well. I'll show you around the inside and I'll show you what gadgets then are on it. So very 90s Japanese. A lot of grey plastics, but good quality. Nothing seems to rattle too much. This I've actually just noticed. There's a passenger airbag in this as well, so that's a nice added bonus for a 97. What I'll do is I'll turn the ignition on and I'll show you what gadgets we have. So we have to our left, we have our rev counter. Then in the middle we have our speedometer and tachometer. On the right then we have a fuel gauge and temperature gauge, along with different sets of warning lights. We've handbrake, there's oil, for example, engine warning, there'll be oil level. So one thing I found quite nice as well, being a Japanese car, the indicators are actually on the left hand side, which most cars would be. So on our left hand stalk we have indicators. So there's a nice tick off that. We then have our parking lights, dipped headlights, and then either full beams to do a quick flash, one back, or if you wanted to remain them on, keep them on, and then you have your icon here appearing up on the left hand side. On our right hand side then we have wipers. So we have here, I didn't actually realize this now until the mechanic had a look over it. I thought originally there was something wrong with the washer. I was pulling back, but that is just a quick swipe. So there you go. To actually get the windscreen wash is press the button in. We have then intermittent, regular, and then fast speed wipe, and then we have the speed of the intermittent as well. So that's actually good. A lot of cars back in the 90s, it was just one speed fits all. Being post 94 then, we have driver airbag. My friend now is quite tall, So it looks like he has the steering wheel adjusted. So with this, I don't think I'll actually be able to. I need 3 hands. It looks like you can adjust the steering wheel up and down. Yeah, which you can. Lovely. So I leave that in the position that I found it in. I love doing a horn test. And before I do that, I'm going to direct you over to the driver's side door card. So we have electric mirrors for left and right. We have electric front windows. There is central locking. And there is a window lock as well. I love the way you can see the icon locking as well. There we go. So I'll pop the window down and I'll let you see what the horn sounds like. So not very aggressive, but it's all the same. It's a nice 90s horn. On our left hand side then we have mainly our temperature control. There's an aftermarket radio and our clock. What I'll do is I'll turn the engine on just to make sure everything shows up, because I see the clock isn't turning on at the moment. Yeah, lovely, clock comes on. Isn't this great? Daytime saving hours, or if you needed to adjust the time, simple hour and simple minute switch. There's no having to get out your manuals, having to do X, Y and Z just to change the time. One thing I did find quite nice now is if I hit the hazard warning lights here, they don't blink itself. So the actual indicator icon comes on, and then down on the right hand side the hazard warning light is also blinking. So I think that's kind of a quirk I hadn't seen before. One thing I did find interesting is the economy light on down here. I haven't found a button yet to turn it off, so I'm not sure if that stays on the whole time. Beside our hazard warning switch then we have rear demister, and we have our rear fog light as well. Like I said, there's an aftermarket radio. There's a wee cubby here. Back in the early 90s now, I wouldn't imagine you'd be holding a mobile phone there. You might maybe hold your wallet, maybe a few pieces of paper, that type of thing. Below then we have our temperature, so effectively cold, and then if you want to get warm air, bring it over to the red. We have then circulation and venting system within the vehicle here, so you can move that either side. Underneath then we have fan speed. And then we have direction of fan as well. So we have directing on your face. We have face and floor vents. Floor vents alone. We have floor vents and front windscreen demister, and then purely front windscreen demister as well. Underneath then we have a cigarette lighter, which you never see in cars nowadays. Everything is anti-smoking. Underneath here then we have an ashtray, which is also, yes, removable. Keep everything nice and clean. Behind then we have a 5-speed gearbox. So as the engine is on, I'm just going to press my foot on the clutch and you can hear the vehicle go into gear. So we have first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear and fifth gear. Reverse then straight back into reverse. Behind it then we have our manual handbrake. So if you actually need to do a hill start or feel the bite before you take off, you'll need one of these guys. There's no on or off button for your handbrake, which is great. Behind it then we have a cubby hole. I wouldn't imagine now it would hold any hot drinks. You might hold maybe a small can in there. Underneath now we have here another cubby hole as well, and an armrest. You got to think, back in the early 90s, this wouldn't have been very standard now in a lot of pretty much kind of mainstream cars like this. This car would have been used a lot as taxis back in the 90s, early 2000s, or as a reliable family car. So I suppose this was an added bonus. Inside then we have, correct me if I'm wrong, but these look like arches here to hold maybe CDs. So correct me if I'm wrong now. I don't actually have a CD case to put in to see if it fits, but I could just imagine maybe 5 or 6 CDs sitting there and then changing them as you wish. Over at the passenger side then we have again our vent glove box, which you can lock via the key, and nice sized glove box as well. So I've noticed now there's no designated cup holders in the car, so I don't know if Toyota thought about that, or if they just decided it wasn't required. On the passenger side then we have again electric windows. You have control of the locking as well. I'm pretty sure in the front passenger side now you can lock the whole car centrally. I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. No, you can't. Not in this car anyway. Then you have a wee door card there as well, and you have your speaker. Passenger seat, you could adjust forward and back, and you could adjust the rear part of the seat as well. Driver seat has a few more adjustments, and I'll show you what options you have there now. So here we have height adjustment on the seat. We have back adjustment, and then around to the left hand side of the seat we have lumbar support there as well. Underneath the steering wheel now, let us have a look. What do we have? So we have I suppose we've had headlight adjustments here. Depending on the load you have in the vehicle, you can adjust them to safety standards. We have then interior dash light here, so that is effectively the lights on your dash at night time. You can adjust them to your liking. Behind here then we'll have a set of fuses, and underneath is our bonnet release for the bonnet, which I'll release there now. The boot you can open by key, or you can pull this latch here. Again, to pull the to release the fuel, then is separate latch here, which I'm trying to think now. I say it would be easily to get confused when starting off in the car, but I say once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to tell the difference. That is our fuel release there as well. Again, lovely nice bit of information here. It's great being able to tell you what your PSI on the tire pressure is, so it's great not having to be looking through a manual when it's just on your door card here, so you can tell exactly what's needed and save you valuable time. I'm just going to show you around the engine bay now. So here's our lovely 1.6 lean burn engine. So as you can see, everything seems to be quite accessible. We've our coolant, huge windscreen wash reservoir. We've our brake fluid, power steering fluid. We have then oil reservoir to fill up, and then our dipstick to check the oil. Spark plugs, very accessible, distributor cap, fan belt, alternator belt, all look very, very accessible. We have our radiator down in front, battery as well. So the car has been sitting up now. My friend is in the middle of getting her back on the road, so there's a few wee bits he needs to do to it. So he's going to give it a good clean. I'm pretty sure the catalytic converter might need to be looked at. So that will hopefully have the car running great then. Otherwise, it's very, very sound to drive. What I'm going to do is I'll just turn the engine on and you can see what it's like starting up then. So forgive me, it's just myself today. Sounds very smooth. When I rev the engine now, you might hear the calf rattle, but like I said, that's going to be replaced or fixed very soon. So to the boot now, you can open it by a key here, or the release underneath the driver's seat. So I've already pressed the release. Huge amount of boot space. So you can now imagine, with the added reliability, huge cabin space and huge boot space, why families and taxi drivers alike were very pleased with this car. So inside we've an interior light. You can access the passenger side of the car through the boot as well, so if you had any longer loads you can pop in. Lip wise in the boot, it's quite a high lip, but again I don't think that would have been an issue back in the 90s compared to nowadays. Underneath then we have our spare wheel, which looks like it has never been used. Underneath that as well then is your jack and tools then to change your spare tire. So in the back of the Carina there's a huge amount of space. So door opens nice and wide. This seat is at my seating position, so I'm going to hop in. Plenty of legroom. Again, it's a 5-seater, and to be honest, I say it would fit 5 comfortably. I'm going to sit in the middle now. So again, legroom, and yes, you could definitely fit 2 more people in the back here. I wouldn't imagine now long distance would be very comfortable, but you definitely fit 5 in here, no problem. The back has manual windows, and you have access to lock your door as well. Being from the 90s, we have 3 seat belts in the back, but we have only a lap belt in the middle, which I don't think will be up to scratch now in today's safety standards. I'll just show you headroom as well, and you'll be surprised again by the amount of headroom we have. So here we go, headroom. I'm sitting back nice and comfortably, and there's a good bit of headroom. When I lean back, my hair just tips off, literally brushes off the roof, but there's still a good bit of headroom now in the vehicle. We have then everywhere bar the driver's side we have handrails. There's an interior light when the door is open, but then, which I forgot to mention, is we have our own separate lighting up here as well. So guys, that's the Carina E, designed for the European market. Like I said, my mate's had it now less than a year. I hope he holds on to it now for a while. It's a great car, and I wish him the best of luck in the summer, getting it out to classic car runs and taking it out on nice Sunday drives. Lovely. If there's any cars you'd like me to review, let me know. I'm based in the northeast area of Ireland, and I'd love to come out and have a look at the cars anyway.